Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of KQL Cafe. Uh, yeah, episode 9 for this year. We're now almost running for 2 years, and I look forward to continue the journey with my buddy next year as well. We already have quite some guests lined up. That's good. That's a good indicator that people actually love to join our session here. So yeah, today the topic is KQL search. We have Ugur back. He was with us a few months ago, and later, when we're done with the what's new stuff, he'll talk a little bit about KQL search, and I really look forward to it. So your hosts, as usual, Johnny and myself. The agenda, also as usual. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a loyal live participant or in YouTube. We understand, it's never the right time. Some have dinner, some have breakfast eventually, lunch. But we really appreciate the feedback that we receive also through the various channels in social media, etc. So as usual, some updates, stuff we found worth mentioning, and later we'll talk. And as usual, the topic about what did you do with KQL this month. So regarding the news, like probably many of you, I spend a lot of time reading, following others, reading what stuff is being done, with KQL, of course. And I quickly like to highlight a few topics that I found. So I'm quickly going to share screen. So one topic I really found interesting and also well explained from our colleague Bert-Jan is some useful functions for network operations. We discussed some of them, but repeating is always good. So definitely, if you haven't come across this article already, take a look. He explains again, how to work with the IP addresses. I especially personally do use a lot in Microsoft Sentinel in combination with watch lists. The IP4 is in range command, but also recently, the IP4, the geolocation, which can help in investigations to enrich the information or compare IP addresses between, what's known to you, provided you, for example, in Sentinel, have all your own internal and external networks in a watch list. You might be able to enrich that also with watch list containing all Azure IP ranges. If you use stuff like Zscaler, get those IP ranges as well, and that will help you to distinguish between the known and the unknown networks. I'm currently working with a colleague on some automation to actually automatically populate all those watch lists and to also distribute the information. For example, into Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, where we also have IP ranges. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, I wanted to mention this article. Take a look. Another interesting thing I've come across is this couple of KQL queries that actually help you to visualize based on your incidents that you've had in Microsoft Sentinel to basically map them to the MITRE attack. And instead of just showing a website, here are some examples out of my demo tenant. So over the last 90 days, I was able to generate some incidents. And of course, they're not all real; they're all simulated, luckily. But yeah, cool thing, to visualize those. Second query, basically showing the category. So yeah, if you're working in security and you want to visualize your recent incidents or over a period of time, check out this query here. Good. Going to switch back to my deck. Then next, Rod Trent has a new thing coming, by the way. Rod will join us in January. Yeah, he started something called the KQL Mysteries. There's now the prologue and the first chapter is out that you can either read or even watch. So he also produced an interesting video, and it's like a little crime series, mixed with KQL stuff. Yeah. Then we had a talk last month with Martin about the Azure Resource Graph. Now, as I highlighted, unfortunately, we cannot yet use the Azure Resource Graph in Microsoft Sentinel analytic rules. I hope that will still come because combining that information will be very useful. But the good news is, at least in public preview, when you work just with Azure Monitor, there, as it mentions in the blog post, I haven't tried it myself, to be honest, but reading the article, at least in Azure Monitor or Azure Log Alerts, we should be able to mix both log analytics tables with the Azure Resource Graph resources. Yeah. And last but not least, just to highlight, and I'll try to get into more detail in the next episode, but for those that use PowerShell or any other means of the traditional log ingestion API, where you basically go to your log analytics workspace and you grab the workspace ID and the primary key, that one is going to be depreciated somewhere in 2025-26. So we still have a little bit of time, but you definitely want to become familiar with the new log ingestion pipeline and APIs that are available. And last but not least, also a little shout out that I definitely plan to attend, hoping that it's going to be a virtual thing that is being offered. Mehmet, who also was on our call this year, he has launched a KQL training dedicated to security analysts. And well, knowing Mehmet's work and the deep dives he does, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be an awesome training, but yeah, let me experience it myself or yourself. So yeah, great to see a lot of things going on in KQL land. And then it's up to Johnny.
Yay! So I was playing around with some data this month, and I thought it would be nice to share something, because if you're running with your query, you can, in the meantime, while working on it, you can share store your query. So what I want to show is what you can do with the as operator. And what it is, for this demo, I joined the log analytics demo environment, the ak.ms/la demo for log analytics demo. So you can join it with every account you have, with your MSA, with your work school account, anything. And in this table, you have the performance logs. So in the demo tenant, they store the performance logs of the Contoso hotels. And I want to show it how we can join a counter in an easy way. So in this case, in the last 24 hours, we have about 4 million records. So it can be quite hard to join this kind of data. So let me just turn the counts a bit. So what I want to do is I want to have this count, but then on every row so that you can quickly see the occurrences. For instance, you can also do that with files or with IP addresses, but we have this data on hand, so I'll start with this. So what we can do is, for instance, over here, I made it a bit smaller. So with the project, I only show a couple of columns so that we don't have all. So like this. And now we want to add the totals behind this. So what we'll do, if we do it like this, so we do copy it right. It's freestyling before. So we have these totals, and then we want to say as T performance, because this way I store it as a temporary value. And we can do a summarize count, because we want to have the count by object name and counter name. And now we want to match this with the temporary file we had. So we do a join kind is inner. It can also be an inner unique, because we already make it unique, but it's by default that I do the kind is inner. And we join it on this. And now, as you can see, we have the counts in a really quick way after each line. And I can also show it the other way around, because if we would have first stored it and then do a join, then it would take all the records and it will take longer. So I'll now show the way which you shouldn't use, or, well, it can be a lot slower. So if we do a let statement, let's call it tperf also. And then we say we have the perf data over here. Then we do again the perf log. Oh wait, we first need the summarize. Now we do perf, and we do the same thing. Now we join it on the table we just created. And as you can see, this takes a really long time, because it generates the table, and then for each record, it will join it. And this will take quite long time for all the records. So if you're handling a lot of big data, or if you're constructing more complex queries, I really like to use the as statement, because as you can see now, this one took 11 seconds, but the handling time was a bit longer. And just to compare, let's run the previous one. That's almost instant. It took a shorter time. It's the same data, so this can be really helpful if you're working with large or complex queries. That's my 2 cents for the learning KQL operators. Does anyone have any questions regarding this one?
It's a nice one.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll share afterwards. I will put this one also in the show notes, so you can play around with it and join the look in the LA demo tenant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
didn't took my slides, so at the training and then as operator. So then we'll wait a second. And our special guest. I don't know if you want to announce him, Alex, or shall I?
Oh, heck.
So, Ugur, you've been in March, you've joined us, and you've spoken about the KQL search. And it was a great session, and you've made some improvements, also a lot of cool things which we wanted to share with everyone. So I guess the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen. I guess that's the correct one. You should see the PowerPoint.
Yes.
I hope you do. Yes, okay, great. Okay, thank you for inviting me. Yes, I was here in March, and in between in the last months, there happened so much new things and a lot of improvements to the website. Yes. So I'm going to talk about KQLSearch.com today, which is a basically a search engine for KQL queries that are shared on GitHub. Just a heads up, I will stay on this screen, so I don't want to go on PowerPoint only mode, because I will switch between the browser and the PowerPoint a lot, so it will be easier this way. But I will share these slides later on, but yeah, I will mostly show what I have to say. Great, so I'm Ugur Koc. I'm working as a cloud engineer at Vulcania, and my Twitter handle is Ugur Koc DE, and my blog is ugurkoc.de. Yeah, I'm mostly blogging actually about Intune. I'm coding a lot, and yeah, KQL Search is a hobby, and I've started it because I had some problems starting with KQL. Did need to improve my skills, and was following a lot of people writing queries much better than me, and KQL Search was a solution for my problem and also for many others, as you will see in a second or in the session, to learn from experienced people. Today I will be talking about the KQL Search website, giving you an overview. We will look at the statistics from the websites. I will talk about the technology stack behind the website, a couple of features that I've added in the last months. Also, I have two amazing announcements, actually. One of them is with a very well-known community member. Yeah, this will be fun today, so I'm excited. But let's start with the overview first. So as I told earlier, the website is basically a search engine. You are able to search for queries. You're able to filter them by topics, by tables, by authors, and you're able to search inside the queries, for example. The website presents basically a collection of KQL queries that are publicly shared on GitHub. And to ensure some quality, I guess, I have only included people that I know from the community of KQL, and I'm constantly adding more authors and repositories to KQL Search. I think we're currently at 16 or 17 repositories, and we started with 4 or 5, so it's growing. Also, I have made it possible for everyone to submit queries, and that's worked well for the website. And currently, I've added about 40 queries from the community. Also, you're able to generate queries and comment and discuss queries, but we will look at it, I guess, now is the best time. Right, so this is the website, KQLSearch.com. The first thing that you will see is the search bar. You can, let's try to search something like user risk, right? And we'll filter down queries, but not only the titles, also what's inside the query, right? So if you click on one of them, a new tab will open up, and somewhere in here is user risk mentioned, like here. This will make it easier because sometimes there is not enough space in the query title, and most of the times it's inside the query itself, so it will be easier to find specific keywords. Yeah, so and the other options to search through is, let me get back here, is the advanced filter. You can filter between the tables. There are hundreds of filters, table names here. There are authors you can filter through. There are keywords used inside the queries. I mean, I can try to scroll down, but it's like thousands of them. And you can also like search inside here. Let's search for Intune, for example, and you will see a lot of Intune-related keywords here. And also, what I think is interesting are operators, especially for people that start new with KQL and want to learn how other people are using specific operators. It's possible to check. Okay, this is way too long, but let's pick one of them, maybe any, and it will filter down all queries that have the operator any inside the query. So that's a good way, I guess, to just orientate and learn from others. While we're here, let's look at one of the queries. Oh, wait a second, give me a second. Let's choose this one, because there's already one comment on this query. This is also a new feature that I've added 1 or 2 months ago, I guess. And this is for people that have like questions or just want to discuss. There were commentaries on other queries where one of them posted a updated query and just told how he or she uses the query in their environment. So there's a back and forth dialogue going on here. That's basically the goal. This is in German because I'm from German location, but this will be in English, hopefully on your screen. Let's just comment on this one, and let's say hi from Germany, right? Just something. It doesn't matter. I will just want to show you something. Yeah, you can choose a username which will show up here in the commentary, or you can choose to comment anonymous and then send on. Click on this button here. What will happen now is every comment on this website is moderated. So my iPad and my iPhone is giving me sounds that a new email has arrived, and I'm getting a new email when someone is commenting on a query, so that I can approve or decline the comment. This is a way to combat, I guess, bots or malicious content. Yeah, and also this website itself is new. Basically, there was a change. So if you want to open a query, it's possible to open it here on the website without leaving it. So you can open the query here, which is not so optimal if it's a very long one, like in this case. So I have implemented a way that opens the query, the explanation, author details, and of course the, let's say, the commentaries in a separate tab. And also, if you want to share the query with someone else, like I have seen a lot of traffic from Teams or Outlook, for example, where people are sharing these links on their own environment with other people, and they will be able to open up this specific query here, which is not possible if you open it here on the screen. Great. And also something that I thought it's more like it's a funny thing. I have added a way to download the query as a PDF file. I don't think it does have a use case or something, but I just wanted to play around and learn how it goes and how it works. And this was the end of it. Yeah, I have edited nevertheless. So yeah. Let me see. Yeah, so on this website, you're also able to show the explanation of the query if you just want to know what it's about. You can also copy the URL to this query. You can go to the GitHub website, a repository of this query, basically to the source, and also share this on Twitter if you want. Yeah, let me change back to the slides. Yeah, statistics. Awesome. So 2 weeks ago, I have made it possible for everyone to look into the website statistics. Our main goal was to be transparent as possible. So there's a button on the bottom right, small one. And if you click on it, it will open Plausible.io. Plausible.io is a privacy first and something like Google Analytics, but privacy first. And it will collect, it will not collect any data from the user that visits the website, but it will show the analytics like unique visitors in the last 12 months, and the source, meaning where they come from Google, Twitter, and so on. And also
does
top
it
pages.
also show the PDF downloads?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually. It doesn't. It also shows the countries, which is not surprising, I guess. Most come from United States, United Kingdom, India from third, and then Germany fourth, and so on. Yeah, so this is just for the people that are interested in it. From the looks of it, after the last update with the AI part, which I will show in a second, it gets way more views per day, visitors per day. So we are around 200 to 300 people that visit the website daily, which is great. Which also motivates me to keep building new stuff. So yeah, that's great overall.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So yeah, I mean, I basically stole, the template format from Bert-Jan because I mean, there's so much ways to format your KQL queries. Is there something how we can help you so you don't have to offer a lot, or you don't have to parse all those various files, etc.? Have you been thinking of, hey guys, if you provided me the stuff in that format, it would make my life easier, or the whole ecosystem?
Yeah, so there are two things about it. The first one is the user experience. If you look at this one, I mean, I can make it a bit larger. It doesn't look well formatted. If you look at it on, let's say, GitHub, for example, it's way better. So they're using Markdown as a formatting for their files. This is something that I'm working on currently. I also want to use Markdown. So it doesn't matter how you share them, as long as they look at like this formatted, right? And this is, for example, like if you're using the format from Bert-Jan, it's perfect. If you're not using it, it's also fine for me. I'm constantly searching for a way to better show it to the user. This is the user experience part.
Yeah.
The other part, what's happening is with AI. So this filters that you see here, every single word, every single thing that you see in the drop-down menu is generated by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT handles the text independent from the formatting or how you guys are publishing it on GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm working on a improvement with a Markdown style look, like on this GitHub page.
Yeah.
To make it easier to read. Yeah, great question. Also, I did forget one button here, statistics. If you're interested, how many queries are shared from other people. This is a short overview. Total queries today is 1,664, which is huge. It's crazy. We have started with, I guess, 300 or 400, and it's almost at 2,000. Let's see, maybe we can get to 2,000 till January or February. Yeah. It's crazy, but it's good. Like the overall feedback that I get from people are just. Last time I was on Reddit, and someone had a question about KQL in general, and also how to begin with KQL. And someone in the comments just said, go to KQLSearch and learn from the people that have created KQLs, and you can also filter through the topics and so on. So the people appreciate very much the people that share the KQL queries.
I can only agree. I mean, this first day I'm doing a talk, and I like to repeat the basic stuff because we need to get more and more people onboarded. I mean, 2 years ago, I would share, that list of, go to get GitHub repo. Honestly, my last page, how to move on, is almost, not entirely, but it's almost just go to KQLSearch and find your way and, meet the repositories of everyone doing KQL. Yeah, makes it really simple.
So, just a side note there, I am someone told me that the Microsoft team for Sentinel is for the onboarding part for big customers is also using KQLSearch on their slides. So for people that want to basically write queries. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's just great to help the community. Let's see statistics. We have talked about this one. Yeah, one thing that's also important, and I will start to tweet about next month. If you go to the analytics page, you will also see the most visited pages. So let's say month to date. Last 30 days. You can also see the most visited queries, the most opened queries in this case, just to get the orientation on what other people's are working and what are searching for. The top hits are funny to me, but yeah, this is all AI generated content, which I will show in a second. But the visualization, for example, or the outgoing IPv4 for queries are most opened in the last 30 days, which is great statistic. So let's see. Technology stack. Yeah, so I've talked about it. I have yeah, I forgot about it. Okay, I'll talk about it in a second. So there were multiple versions of KQLSearch.com. The first one was it wasn't really professional. It did work, but it wasn't really professional. The reason was every time someone visited the website, there was always the API call from GitHub. This had the advantage that it was real-time content. So when someone of the community contributors uploaded a query to GitHub, it would immediately show up on the KQLSearch.com. The problem behind this was when there were more than 100 people on this website a day, it wouldn't work anymore. So the 101st user on this website for the day wouldn't see any queries because the API would rate limit me from GitHub. And then version 2 was born. And this is way more professional, but it's not perfect, but way more professional. I have implemented a database, Postgres, between GitHub and KQLSearch.com. So there is a web scraper that gets all the content via web scraping or API calls or whatever every 6 hours from the given list of repositories and uploads them to the database. And I've also implemented OpenAI just to support me with creating a list of keywords, the list of tables, also to implement the generator assistant and the lab. Yeah, but this way I can serve more people. I'm not getting rate limited and so on. The features of the website have also increased by a lot. Let's not read any text. Let's just look at it and try it out. I have implemented 3 things, or 4. The assistant, a generator, a lab, and a submit query button. Let's start with the assistant. All of these tools are powered by, I'm using ChatGPT, the newest model from them, which does cost me some money, but I'm paying for it. That shouldn't be a problem. But let's just use this assistant with an example. Let's pick up one query. It doesn't matter which one. Let me copy paste it. Oh, okay. Trying it again. Great. So get assistant. So what it does is the following. It will analyze your query and will give you a explanation of the query itself. It will give you a idea or improvement or just show you any problems with your query, potential problems. A updated query, which thinks the AI thinks is better for this use case, and it will also show you the changes that it made to the query to generate the updated query. This is something that I think will be important for people that are, I don't know, like want a second opinion about the queries, or just starting with KQL itself, or are not sure if this is the most efficient way to write a query, and people just can use this assistant to help them out. So this is the assistant. Let's switch over to the generator, which is something that is most used on this website actually. And this will help you basically to generate a KQL query, like the name says. So let's create a query. Okay, let's test it with something which will not work. So I've told you this is basically ChatGPT in the background. With ChatGPT, you can write anything and chat everything, and will mostly answer your questions if they're not malicious. But let's ask the API what the birthday of Napoleon Bonaparte is. Generate. Okay, so this is something that I've tested around a lot. Basically, it will check the input that you give it and see if this has anything to do with KQL, right? So you can't chat with it and ask it for other things than KQL. It's basically your KQL assistant in this case, and it will only react to KQL content. Let's say we want to create a query, KQL query, showing a list of Azure VMs. Let's see if it does. And it did. It will give us a table and also a full query of which we can test out. In my experience, the best way to generate queries with ChatGPT is by being as specific as possible. So this one is basically a prompt. What you can do is also add a table. So let's say use the table. In this case, it will be something like Azure Activity. I don't know. I'm not sure. So we will say it should use the table Azure Activity. And if you're unsure if this is the correct table, you will be able to search for it on the Google Search website. So this will be a way to get better results from the AI. Also, there's a history button. So let's say you leave the website and come back. You will also have a way to look at your own history and check what you've generated before. The third thing is a lab. This does not work as expected currently. Let me show you with an example. I'm sorry for the flashbangs. I see you guys video and it's white for a second when I change the screen. So I'm sorry for that. Let's run basically an example. Let's see what it does. Yeah. So let's say you want to test out a query, but you don't have the data in your infrastructure or your environment, and you just want to see how can a example or simulated result look like. And this is basically it, right? It gives you a sample data, what it looked like, and it will run the query on the sample data and give you a simulated result on the possible results. So this is a way for people to also check how the results could look like. It doesn't do it perfectly. So there are examples where sometimes the sample data equals the results. It's not perfect, but I am working currently on a solution with the GPT-4 model from OpenAI, which should work better, but I've to test around with it. Great. So the last one is the submit query button. This is possibility to also share your queries. Basically, what the website does is it checks for repositories on GitHub, but this way you will also be able to submit single queries. Let's say you have written a query on your job about a specific topic, or you saw something on Twitter sharing by someone else. This is a way for you to submit this to the database. Basically, you can answer these questions here. Who created the query, the title of the query, you can give it a reference, short description, what it does, the query itself, of course, also things you want to add for this. So as I mentioned earlier, I have added about 45 queries this way, only from this form that gets filled out. So people use it a lot. Great. So I've talked about the assistant, the generator, query lab, announcements. Yeah. So two things that I've worked on. One with a very well-known community member, which I will talk about in a second. Let's start with the quiz. There are two buttons here in the top left of the website. The first one will be the KQL quiz. This is more of a gamification for people to repeat their knowledge of, or to just train their knowledge of KQL, or for people that want to, let's say, test or just learn KQL. It's basically let me turn the sound off. It's basically there's 10-second timer. There are 10 questions about KQL. I have 50 questions in my database, so the question will be randomized each time you visit the website. And let's just click through it, just to save some time, I guess. Okay, there we go. So we finished it. We got 3 of 10 questions correct. And as you can see, you can also enter your name here. In my case, will be this one, but you can also type in wow, for example, right? Submit the score and view the high scores. The idea behind this is, someone has also, okay, crazy. Okay, I didn't have mentioned this quiz before, but someone has already filled this out, which is great. Yeah, so this is a high score. So the best 10 will be shown here. The quiz is just a start. So there's only 10 text single choice questions. But in the future, I will also add real use cases, real scenarios to this. So where you will have to create KQL queries based on a scenario that you can submit and get a score about it. And this is just for gamification in this case. Great. The second one, which I'm very excited about, and I guess I can show this slide on this one because the name is important. Yeah, I've talked with Bertjan, and we are starting a newsletter called KustoInsights, and it will basically have the latest news, community blogs, and KQL queries in it. It will be a monthly newsletter, The first release will be the 5th of December, and you guys are the first to know about it. We will tweet a short post about it in, I guess, an hour or so on Twitter and make it public. But if you want, you can also register right now at KustoInsights.substack.com. Let me post this here.
That's cool. I don't have to do any preparations. I just read your newsletter.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the goal is to summarize the news. Like I know it from myself, and I know from other people. Not everyone has time to go through all the news because so much is happening, right? Especially after Ignite, and there's so much content out there, especially community blogs or queries that people are sharing, and it's not easy to follow for most of the people.
Yeah.
So
and I
guess
also noticed that everybody has its own preference of format, right? You have people that read, you have people that rather watch a video, you have people that want to do hands-on, you have people that actually cool. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, so if you want, you can already subscribe to the newsletter. As I said, the first one will be released on the 5th of December next month, and we plan to release a new one every first Tuesday of the month with Bert-Jan and me as the co-authors. Yeah, I guess that's it. Let me double check. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys. Any questions?
Not a question per se, but I do have a feature request.
Yes, please.
On the website, you have the words where you can filter on and the tables. But I think if you can also do some statistics or searches based on the operators. If people want to see a certain operator in action, that they can use that in the filtering.
Yeah. Let me share the screen again. Just to understand you correctly, you don't mean this thing right here, right?
These are some operators, but you also have the where and the scan and the
okay,
those operators.
Okay. Got you. Okay. Yeah. Let me put this on my long list of coming features. Yeah, I'm writing it down, and we'll make it happen hopefully as soon as possible. Yeah.
Nice.
Really super cool.
Okay.
I really appreciate this project.
The feedback was the feedback was overall so great that I'm not only investing my own time after work, I'm also investing a lot of money into this to make it work, because it's as I said, it's database and API calls and everything today costs money. Even the website itself is $20 a month. It's not much, but I only do it because of the feedback from the community. If nobody would use it, I wouldn't even pay a dime for it. So it's fine. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we get some funding.
Yeah, Ugur, it's not a problem to make something happen. I mean, even buy me a coffee button would be nice.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I have 2 sponsors actually for this website. Let's see if you can make it happen. 2 companies that I want to sponsor the website, but maybe even a buy me a coffee button will make it. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, well, if you ever get like every 20 minutes a comment to moderate, then reach out to the community.
I will. Yeah.
It's
not that many today, but yeah.
Cool. No, amazing. And wow, I mean, what probably drove you most is, you know, to actually learn something totally different while still being on the subject. Yeah. Super cool.
Totally, yeah. Great.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for all the hard work. Yeah. I'll think of a Christmas present. Yeah. A personal one. Yeah. No, really cool. Yeah. So can you maybe disclose some of the, you know, the big features you would like to do, but you know, like it's gonna take you too much resources or something like that?
Yeah, sure. So there are two things that I want to do. One is a team spot. So I want to create a way for you to chat with a KQL bot in that case, to ask questions, to let it generate KQL queries or get feedback on queries. It will also be ChatGPT or OpenAI powered in this case, but I didn't have the time to look into it and create the bot. This would be one thing that I'm working on my long list. The second one is a browser add-on. So let's say you are inside the Azure portal and you can directly search inside the browser add-on and copy and paste the query outside of the add-on and put it directly into your portal and run the query in your Log Analytics workspace, for example. This is also a thing that I'm working on. I have actually finished the project, but I guess it was the Chrome web store or the Chrome add-on store has rejected my add-on, so I didn't publish it until now, but maybe I will publish it as a zip file, so you can just import it manually in your browser. But I have to finish it up and make it work better. But those are two things. So the browser add-on and the team spot. Yeah.
So why would they reject it? Or
it was rejected. I don't actually know. They have some. I thought the Intune error codes were horrible, but the Google Chrome web store is worse. They had a error code. I don't even know if it's called or what it was, but it basically said that my that the add-on didn't match any requirements of the store. I don't know which one. The funny thing is the Firefox web store did allow the add-on, but I pulled it back because I didn't want it to only be on Firefox. But I have to think about it again. Yeah.
Isn't Jan Geisbauer's add-on not also all available in the store, or is it also a standalone install?
I think it's available actually.
Okay.
Maybe I will just contact him.
Because he told me a while ago, like, I've learned so much by creating this, safe site add-on that you developed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Cool. Maybe I can join you guys in next year for the next version update for KQLSearch.
Yeah, definitely.
You never know. Yeah. Great.
No, really. Again, appreciate it. Also, I'm happy that we're slowly getting to build a community. I mean, RockTrank started a while ago. We had other individuals who kind of rocket started with things like 360 days of KQL Queries. Then we actually had yourself, doing the whole. If I remember correctly, you submitted initially a lot of Intune stuff, right?
Yeah. I actually had also a on Twitter 50 days of KQL for Intune. So where I posted every day a query, and then I've started KQLSearch.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. So thanks for joining us and
thanks for having me.
Telling about the inner workings and the whole way you spent until you got there, and looking forward for more innovations. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah. Good. And we continue with a contribution from Johnny. We can't hear you, Johnny.
That's when I sound the best, right?
Yeah.
So a while ago, you shared a contribution about attack surface reduction rules. And every now and then I play with attack surface reduction rules, because when you do a deployment, you always run into things. And I just wanted to share some queries on how you can make that life easier for yourself. And so what I begin with is this is my small environment. In the last couple of days, I enrolled my devices and I started playing with the attack surface reduction. And let's see. So action time. So in this environment, I have already some other things and some block settings, because in ASR, attack surface reduction rules, you can have audit, block, warn to see what's happening. And in this case, I can leave it here. What I want to do is to make life a bit easier to understand what to exclude, when to exclude. So what I first tend to do is I tend to create another column. We do extend let's call it string. And then we do a string concatenate where we say folder path. And we say we want to add another backslash. And we want to have the file name. Because in this, we need this to make the exclusion. So we now know that all these items have been triggered by some rule. So what we do next is let's do a summarize count on that one. So we say summarize count string. Summarize count by string. Now we can see there were some items getting more attention than other. For instance, this was on a new installed device, so I knew when you open a URL from Outlook, it used the Edge web viewer, for instance. So that's a good indicator to make sure it's not blocked. And there's also another thing with the attack surface reduction, that sometimes when it handles when it blocks a certain activity, then the process still gets allowed to run. So for instance, the Chrome updater does a query in the ASR memory for accounts, because it wants to collect some data. And then if ASR blocks the ASR activity, the update will still run, but without that specific data. So it can be possible that the process isn't killed while ASR is still doing its work, and the updates in this case also. So
yeah, in fact, Microsoft was so confident of that specific ASR rule that one is actually now on by default in block mode.
Which one? The ASRs?
Yeah.
Unless you are running SCCM, probably. I think.
I think with SCCM is the PSXX you shouldn't turn on, and the WMI.
I think ASRs is also doing some things.
Because it was not well communicated, but I think more than a year ago they turned that on by default. Yeah.
Okay. So a next step which we can do, in this case in my environment it doesn't do as much, but we can do a decount by activity by string and action type. Decount device ID, because we want to show how many unique computers there are running it. So in my environment, it's just 1 or 2 devices, so it doesn't happen that much. But as you can imagine, if you are running a large environment, you might want to see, hey, how many devices are having issues with this one. So the next step is we now know the exclusion. So we go to endpoint and we add the exclusions. And then after a while, we check in again. And what for me works is if we then would change the date to the moment where we have set the ASR rules. So we can just simply change this date and then we can run it again. And then you should be able to see if there are any changes, if there are any other things happening in your environment. But this one wasn't quite clear, and Alex showed in a couple of sessions ago a nice query about how you can pivot and change the columns. And I modified that one a bit. So at first, let's just take this one out. Now we can leave it here. So what I do in this query is I check the device info, because I wanted to see only Windows 11 devices. Maybe you have some Citrix or some other devices. You can use this to filter the device types. And then I want the latest record, because maybe it was reinstalled if it got a lot of data. And also if you do a join, you don't want to have 1,000 records or some records of the same device. So let me just show this one for a second. So this one returns unique device IDs, and then the latest I aggregate on timestamp, and I show all the other records available. And then I project the timestamp as last seen, device ID, because it's unique, device name. If you reinstall a device, you can have two different devices with the same name, and the logged on users, just to show which users are running on there, because sometimes you have maybe a generic account, or maybe hey, okay, so this user is from the finance department, and then maybe you are expecting different applications than if you are running it from somewhere else. But then I wanted to join that against the device events, where we filter again on ASR. So, and over here I also use the as operator. And why doesn't this? It's joining by. That's cool, because the as operator, you can also run it within a join. But let's see. It should work. It's on. Now we have joined the device info on the ASR and on the hits. But next, what we want to do is, this one isn't quite You know the hits, you know the action types, but we can do it a bit more advanced. So we add a sum if, which you can make a count if there are certain values. So we want to have a column audited and we want to have a column blocked so that you can see, hey, on this device, there is happening a lot of things. And why is this? Yeah.
I guess there was a missing bracket.
Yeah. So, thank you. Still. There it is. Okay. No. Always fun searching through a demo. Okay, so we have to join here, and we join it on join on device ID. This should be good. And we have the left author, and we're missing the bracket over here. No, it's more up. Open.
Is it line 49 after the word test?
Join. You say here?
I guess so. The closing one.
Okay, so wait, that's okay, bit of cheating. So we have the columns, and then as Alex showed earlier, you can also make bags of your values. And now what I've done is I've created a column for each record. And why this is handy, if you combine it with the date, you can see if there are a lot of hits after you change your query. So for instance, if you set all the ASR rules to block and you still see some audits, or if you see a lot of blocks in a certain category, you can quite easily see all your devices and, hey, what's happening on there. So that's a way where you can use this query to make sure that your settings is correct. So for instance, if we change this, so for, let's see, we have some audits. No, we don't have any audits. Let's see. Okay. I didn't generate any audits events on this device, but as you can imagine, if you progress the date, then your audit should be moved from this column, and then it should be a good way to optimize your settings. That's what I've been doing this month with ASR and making the best out of it.
Cool.
Yes, Simon.
Did you have a chance also to look into the Office macro ASR rule? Because this is, from what I see, the customer is like much more advanced, because it shows you the Word msword.exe, but you have basically to whitelist the docx file, and it's get even more worth if you have a parent template Word file where you have the macros in. So that's super crazy with the customers.
Yeah, so you can do several things. One of the things I like to do is to use wildcards in the exclusion. But also what I see a lot is that they use the macro, and the macro itself gets blocked according to the audit logs, but the Word document is still working. So that's also a good one to validate, hey, do I want to spend 200 plus hours on making the specific exclusions, or do I wait until a user or someone in the test group complains that it's not working? Because that's what I see happening a lot in those cases. Also, you have these temp files. When you open Word, then it generates a temp file, and that generates the ASR. But for some reason, I can't seem to exclude those. If I use asterisks or question marks or anything, it's not working as I expected. I still haven't figured out why, but it's.
I have the same experience, yes. And I'm sure this customer is super crazy. He implements macros in the normal dot, so basically in a template file, which is super crazy for me.
And isn't it the big problem because the whole ASR doesn't live in user land but in system? At least when it comes to variables and paths and exclusions and that sort of things.
Yeah, kind of that. But we cannot exclude a process, which I would expect, like we do with LSAS and stuff like that. And now we have to exclude document with informations and not the process itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it's a nice one.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
By the way, I recently stumbled upon that somewhere in the there's another table. Speaking about KQLs and table findings, let me quickly check what is the table name. Something called evidence. Maybe Johnny, until I'm logged on. Take a look at the device. If you can quickly just type device. What do we have there? Device.
Alert evidence.
No. Then it's not. Do you have the TVM? Info gathering. It's something like device TVM info gathering. Yeah, exactly. That one. Yeah. And there I recently found out that also the ASR, so the rules, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, unless I'm telling now something I'm not supposed to yet, that there's also the ASR exclusions being gathered. Yeah. Configuration states. And I thought that I also saw some of the exclusion information already in there. Yeah. And I hope that in the very end, we also get the defender exclusions one day populated, because that could help as well to gain visibility over what actual exclusions are there. Okay, yeah.
I've added some new nice values also to this column, I see.
Yeah.
Cool stuff for new detections and for new dashboards.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Anyone else wants to share something they did? I know I repeat myself. Don't be shy. You must be doing something with KQL. No. Okay. Then we look forward to see all your contribution in Ugur's KQLSearch. Yeah. Ugur, if you're still in the call.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a request. Can you add something like PayPal? I don't want to enter my credit card on a website.
Yeah, no. Thanks though.
Before I know it, it's in your ChatGPT. No kidding, but when you want to pledge, but I assume the pledge page is not yours, right? It's from the Substack, or is it your own?
It's from Substack, yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Is it asking you to subscribe or?
No, I want.
You can send
you
a
are
pledge
asking me for
optionally.
money.
No, we don't want this. Yeah, let me make sure to disable this. I'm new to Substack and to the newsletter stuff, so I will look into settings.
Well, I actually wanted to give you something, but I don't want to give my credit card number.
Maybe we will meet at a conference or so next year, and then we can shake hands. This will be enough for me.
Okay, cool.
When you register it, it gives you an option to do a free subscriber or pledge 20, 80, or 100, I think it was.
Oh my God. Okay. I will disable that. I don't want any paid subscribers. No. It's fine. But thanks for mentioning it.
Okay. Good. Well, if there's nothing else, on the logistical side, Johnny and I are still thinking whether we're gonna enjoy Christmas a little bit earlier or not. So maybe there's something in December. We'll let you know through the usual channels. And otherwise, we see you back in January, hopefully. And if I'm not mistaken, we have Mr. KQL Must Learn himself, Rod Trent. Correct?
Yeah, we have him. Yeah. And then in February, we have our friend Fabian Bader.
Oh, great. Yeah. And I think we're booked up till March, right?
Yeah. Ahead of planning, but if you know someone or if you want to present something yourself, contact me, contact Alex. Simon, maybe you want to show something in March, April, and you're always welcome to share your take on KQL. It can be like Ugur did, a website. It can be anything you like to share, how you use KQL or that.
If I beat that Office macro thing, I will present it.
Yeah. And you know, if we don't find someone else, we just start over with where we all started.
Good crowd.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, then I wish you all a nice rest of the day, nice evening, nice afternoon, and see you soon. And thanks for joining.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.